welcome to this explainer. Okay, picture this. It's late 2012. Do you remember the media frenzy? The wild internet rumors? Maybe you even had a few friends who were quietly stockpiling canned goods in their basements. Today, we're unraveling one of the most fascinating and frankly bizarre cultural moments of the 21st century. We're going to look at how a completely misunderstood ancient calendar somehow triggered a massive global doomsday panic. How on earth did the incredibly sophisticated timekeeping of the ancient Maya transform into a multi-million-dollar apocalyptic nightmare? Well, we are going to separate the hardcore archaeological facts from the Hollywood fiction, relying entirely on peer-reviewed science and historical data to figure out exactly what happened. Let's dive in. Now, to really wrap our heads around how huge this phenomenon was, check out the staggering statistic. In the lead up to December 21st, 2012, global polls show that 1 in 10 people worldwide felt genuine, palpable anxiety that the world was about to end. 1 in 10. We are talking about hundreds of millions of people here. This wasn't just some fringe dark web conspiracy. It was a completely mainstream global psychological event. It got so bad that some countries literally had to issue official government broadcasts just to calm the public down. So what exactly were all these people so afraid of? And where did the idea even come from?
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the real Maya calendar, and actually understand the math behind it.
So, the ancient Maya actually ran several complex calendars all at once, but the absolute star of the 2012 controversy was their Mesoamerican long count calendar. This system tracked massive stretches of time using a unit called a baktun. Think of a baktun as a giant bundle of years, about 394 years to be exact, or 144,000 days. According to their system, the zero date of our current creation era was all the way back in 3114 BCE. Fast forward to December 21, 2012, and it simply marked the end of the 13th baktun. That's roughly 5,126 years since the clock started. It was a massive mathematical milestone, sure, but as you'll see, a milestone is very, very different from a finish line.
And right here, this perfectly captures the core misunderstanding at the heart of the entire 2012 panic. You see, the traditional Western concept of time is linear. It has a definite start, it moves in a straight line, and it basically demands a final catastrophic endpoint, an apocalypse. But for the ancient Maya, time was cyclical. It goes in circles. When a huge calendar cycle comes to an end, the universe doesn't blow up, it just resets. It's exactly like an old car's odometer, rolling over from 99,999 straight back to zero. For the Maya, hitting the end of the 13th baktun wasn't panic mode. It was a sacred occasion for massive ritual renewal. The world wasn't ending, a whole new cycle was just getting started.
Moving right along to Section 2, Birth of a Global Myth, where we track how this virus spread. Believe it or not, the patient zero for this entire apocalyptic nightmare can be traced back to a single, highly speculative sentence. It was published in a 1966 book called The Maya by a very respected Mayanist named Michael D. Coe. He explicitly wrote that Armageddon would overtake the degenerate peoples of the world on the final day of the 13th baktun. The wild part? Coe based this entirely on his own imagination, not on a single shred of primary textual evidence from the actual Maya. By the time newer editions of his book came out, Coe had completely walked this back and retracted the whole doomsday idea. But by then, well, the genie was totally out of the bottle. The whole thing just became this massive cultural snowball effect. It kicks off in 1966 with Cohn's dry academic theory. Then, boom, the 1970s hit, and New Age authors completely hijack the date. They start weaving in psychedelic theories, Hopi prophecies, and vague astrological alignments. Fast forward to the 1990s, and the early internet acts like a giant megaphone, amplifying these theories into a global echo chamber. And finally, the absolute knockout punch happens in 2009. Hollywood drops a blockbuster disaster movie, literally called 2012. It was 100% fiction, but that insane global marketing campaign and a $760 million box office run, that completely cemented the panic as a reality in the public's mind.
So let's tear this down in Section 3, Debunking the Apocalypse, Science versus Fiction.
Let's just rapid fire through these so-called threats, because the scientific reality is honestly pretty funny. Take the famous galactic alignment, where the sun supposedly lines up with the center of the Milky Way. Scientific reality? That literally happens every single year. Nothing special in 2012. What about the rogue planet Nibiru destined to smash into Earth? Simply put, there is no planet Nibiru. If a planet-sized body was hurtling toward us, gravity would be going crazy and any kid with a backyard telescope could see it. Sudden magnetic polar shifts causing mega earthquakes? Sure. Geomagnetic reversals happen, but they take thousands of years, not a random Tuesday afternoon. And those world-ending solar flares, they follow completely regular 11-year cycles, and Earth's magnetic field handles them just fine. Basically, NASA and astrophysicists everywhere confirm these threats were entirely made up. And it wasn't just the space scientists rolling their eyes, the archaeologists brought a mountain of receipts too. Out of the thousands of ancient Maya inscriptions we've uncovered, guess how many actually reference this specific 2012 date? Exactly 2. That's it. And the famous one, Tortogoro Monument 6, scholars confirm it just uses the date as a temporal anchor to talk about a local building dedication. It's the ancient equivalent of saying, hey, we're finishing this project right before the new year. Plus, we found actual Maya astronomical tables in Zoltan projecting lunar cycles thousands of years past 2012. And there's an inscription in Palenque talking about an anniversary in the year 4772. The Maya clearly expected the Earth to stick around. If you really want your mind blown by the sheer scale of their math, take a look at the Koba Stela 1 monument. This ancient carving records a timeline projecting an astonishing 2.687 times 10 to the 28th power years into the future. Let me put that in perspective for you. That is roughly 2 quintillion times the current age of our entire universe. Thinking these brilliant mathematicians genuinely believed time was just going to abruptly stop in 2012, honestly, it's a huge insult to their legacy. Which brings us to the real elephant in the room in Section 4, the psychology of prophecy. Why did we believe it? Well, it turns out the answer lies deep within human psychology. This panic was driven way less by facts and way more by our deep subconscious need for a clean narrative ending. Step 1 is apocalyptic psychology. We were going through a global recession and a lot of political instability. In deeply uncertain times, people desperately seek meaning. And weirdly, predicting the apocalypse gives a bizarre sense of control. Then step 2 kicks in, confirmation bias. Once the seed is planted, people start looking at normal, everyday phenomena like routine earthquakes or weird weather and see it as undeniable proof that the end is near. And finally, step 3, cognitive dissonance. When December 22nd rolled around and the world was totally fine, hardly anyone said, oops, I was wrong. Instead, human nature kicked in. They rationalized it. They moved the goalposts, revised the dates, or claimed the shift was purely spiritual. It's a truly fascinating look at how our brains handle being spectacularly wrong. So at the end of the day, the 2012 phenomenon reveals way more about modern Western culture than it ever did about the ancient Maya. We took an incredible, sophisticated celebration of cosmic renewal, appropriated it, and twisted it into our own linear, destructive nightmare. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. We easily survived a doomsday that was never actually predicted in the first place. But given how incredibly fast misinformation travels on the internet today, how easily is modern society going to fall for the exact same trick next time? Keep asking questions, always check the data, and we will catch you in the next one.